Teammate lost game number 1, which was Tempo Storm's Battleground pick. Teammate then chose to go to Braxis Holdout. Tempo Storm defeated them there before Teammate even got heroic abilities. Now, you posited that Teammate will pick the Battleground choice, take him to where, Infernal Shrines?
I mean, just wherever they feel comfortable.
Let's see what they decided to do. We're gonna check out the Battleground pool once again. So this is exactly the same pattern that Teammate had versus Gale Force Esports. They picked the first map, or Gale Force picked the first map, but in losing, they picked to have Battleground choice, and then upon losing the second game, they chose first pick. So switching it up again, Tempo Storm's gonna pick Towers of Doom.
Towers of Doom is, you know, a good map for Tempo, so I'm not surprised to see them go in that direction. They seem to have a significantly dominant, I guess, understanding of how to use globals. They really understand, you know, how to play the macro game far better than it feels like they ever did before. And beyond anything else, Tempo Storm, the one thing you can take from Tempo Storm's performance this week is that they have, for the first time, I would say, ever, in my opinion, learned how to force when they have a lead. And that is the one criticism I've had for them for a long time. You know, why it's hard to put faith, in my opinion, behind this group of players, because they're good at the video game and they can get ahead. But internationally, whenever they get a lead, they just go, well, hopefully they don't do anything to try and come back. And now Tempo Storm is just going, what if we don't give them a chance?
Yeah, what if they're not even allowed to do that? Dread, why would Teammate not pick Battlefield of Eternity?
I don't have that thought process, honestly. I don't know exactly why they wouldn't.
Timbo, that is the one battleground where they have such a bad record.
Yeah.
They picked Braxis.
I don't know. It's more of like, we think we're good on Braxis more than it is Tempo being weak on BOE. Is, you know, that's the only thing I can really come up with here. Dahaka's still picked up for Glorong.
With a ban on Falstad too, Teammates controlling
Relating to what we saw from Gale Force Esports versus Teammate and the trends that we saw out of Teammate, in Game 1, Glorong played Medivh. In Game 2 and 3, Glorong played Dahaka. Correct?
Yes.
Game 1?
Game 3 was Dahaka, but Game 2 was Sonya on Infernal Shrines.
Well, then I suck. I was going to say, we see another trend where he sticks to a comfort on one, and then back the later 2 games, moving on to the Dahaka. There was only one moment of him getting caught out, though, in the last game.
Yeah, right at the beginning.
Not nearly as bad as the first showing.
I'll tell you what, Tempo Storm seems terrifying if they have 2 solid Arthas players.
He's a bunny. I'm a rabbit.
Oh, no.
The tweet will never go away, dude.
I need that tweet to go away.
Oh, no, I loved it.
You keep throwing it at me.
All right, so the Malf Arthas, very powerful rotation. We've seen what June can do when he gets his hands on that scary, scary Druid. Where does Teammate go? They've got the global advantage. Are they worried about picking up the Lucio, or are they going to go into a different direction? Zarya is still up. Zarya Dahaka has been something that people have been leaning to a bit.
Twice now, Justin has not had the full gamut of warriors at his potential.
Lucio.
I wondered if maybe they would decide to give him the exact pick he wants, but instead, again, such a flexible player, feeling like they can leave that to later, even if Tempo Storm bans a warrior here.
That is really interesting, you know? Do we see the ETC ban just dropped? Just being like, Justin, we're done with you? I want to know, historically, any team that Glorong is on, you focus Glorong. This is the first time it's been a team that looks at a team that Glorong is on to try and dismantle and goes to the warrior. But I wouldn't put Justin as a weak frontline. I think that's more than anything, they view him as the carry.
They're looking at Varian again.
They view him as the carry.
Well, yeah.
They're like, it's not about your weak hero pool, it's
Honestly,
about your carry.
Look to the series at Western Clash between Tempo and Teammate. I see exactly why.
Yeah, I agree. It's just strange to see a general consensus between the top 3 teams, or at least the top 2 to take on Teammate. Ban on the Zarya. Where does Tempo Storm want to move now? Somewhere into the back. Greymane, Arthas, and the Abby.
Oh.
That is about as terrifying as it gets for an Abathur composition. My goodness.
You have Arthas clones potentially, Greymane clones. Greymane is such a good clone target.
Greymane clones with a Arthas slowing everybody down is just, oh my goodness. You cannot have a better situation if you're an Abathur player. Ooh. Somebody, you have to probably expect this, though. Teammate had to have known that they were probably going to move in the direction. Even No Tomorrow banning out the Abathur. Abathur is a thing in North America now on Towers of Doom. Drawn from Europe. Team Dignitas played so much of that at the Western Clash on this map. So we're learning, we're picking up, and then we get the Valera as the counter response here to the Murden Zeratul rotation.
Wowzers.
Wowzers.
Zeratul Dahaka, which means Prismaticism, I believe, will be playing Dahaka. Over on the other side, Valera, that's going to be Som. Caterpillar playing Greymane? Probably, yeah. Then Koth and Abathur. What are you thinking?
If this was Brax's holdout or another map where you could attack the core, it would be over pretty quickly. That's what I think when looking at the draft that Tempo Storm has managed to get. They have, the only one I question is Valera, and I don't even hate it as a follow-up to all the other tools as a soft answer to Zeratul. I do think it's kind of a skill matchup to where we've seen, for instance, Glaurung play Valera into Zeratuls and really mess them up. I expect Som to be equally, versed in that series.
Plus, I mean, it's really one of two options, apparently, according to Caterpillar, as to what Som can play.
Yeah,
you know, he played Zeratul last game.
No, he can't really play that. He can only he's a two-trick, right? He's just got Valera and he's got KT. That's it.
That's just it.
Cattle's words.
Valera versus Zeratul. The battle of stealthies will commence. Does Tempo Storm have it in them to just close it out right here?
I think so. They have an Arthas Abathur Greymane composition on Towers of Doom. You know, and Mouth. That's the one thing. It's typically you sacrifice somewhere, and they really kind of just did it. No. They've got a little bit of everything.
Teammate got, you would argue, everything they wanted, except maybe which warrior they wanted.
But that's all it seems like it's taking to kind of weaken Teammate.
Well, let's get into it. Let's not waste any more time. Let's head into game number 3 between Tempo Storm and Team 8. We're going to Towers of Doom.
Just absolute panic in my ear. Absolute panic in my ear. Oh, man.
Anytime you hear an oh, no. It's generally...
Yeah, we have a little guy who speaks to us once in a while when we talk about a video game, and he was not happy about what was happening there. In case you're wondering. Okay, so what else when looking at the compositions? Lucio was higher value. We see a Murden with the Haka. I talked about how much I enjoy Murden. With Zeratul especially, anytime you can get somebody to dive with the Zeratul to provide a double threat is going to be able to benefit them. But it's whether or not they can apply enough pressure, honestly, just to June. And I have faith in June, honestly, to get those kind of outplays. He's the most impressive support in North America by a mile. In my opinion, nobody is anywhere near this guy's skill level.
I agree. He and some of the other members of Tempo Storm are hiding out, looking for a party.
It's my party. Oh, they give the bait. He's just a lone wolf up here. Sad
Nobody else
wolf.
is around.
The beauty of having Abathur to be able to get side soak. So, Teammate didn't commit to a free front wall, even into an Abathur comp. Really uncommon. And Tempo Storm's winning when it comes to pressure. This is a minute in, and things are not going how you would like if you're playing on Teammate right now into an Abathur composition. That just, I know it doesn't mean much now, but you tend, genuinely, when you can see things like this and things you can expect to see with a specific type of draft and they don't work out that way, it usually means that things are only going to get worse with time. It's not always the case. Front wall for front wall, but again, Teammate should be trying to push the envelope.
And the very first altar phase might be a place to do so. Teammate knowing that with an Abathur composition, you are generally going to have to give up a little bit in the early game. So far, Teammate haven't been able to figure out where Tempo Storm has to do that, but it might be that Tempo Storm can only get one of the altars.
Both of the sappers are going to be moving in. Dahaka will look for the top channel. It's 3 members of Team 8 going to body block over that top left. Zeratil's looking to stop the gray main on bottom. So that's going to be the 1v1. Team 8 getting the first 4 shots onto the core. 2 versus 1, depending on what you count that hat as. All the members of Team 8 moving in. No eyes in the dark, and Cattle makes it out.
He makes it out. Howling Blast will deny Prismaticism, who is on that Dahaka. But June is starting to move down. Now Malfurion's here. That will help, but not in time. Team 8 walks away with 2 of the 3 altars from this first phase.
If Tempo had had anybody else channel, that would have been a perfect situation. You never want to leave your support as the last one to channel, especially when it's a Malfurion. And that's purely based on the fact that Cattle obviously needed heals. Anytime you can get those cross healing for your team, but Malfurion post 4 with Elune's Grace is the best, one of the best delays in the game. So not having him make that rotation hurts Tempo. I mean, they still could have ended up losing it, maybe losing more, but you know, at this point with Tempo Storm slowly upgrading their game,
they probably expected to lose that anyway, having Abathur, and being really happy with the front wall that they did get. Yes, it would be great. Moonfire is a super low cooldown, and then having Elune's Grace to give increased range to that so we can do it safely, but this would be another great way to get back at things. It is Justing, he's Muradin, he'll get back in time. Valeera build is different than what we have come to expect. No combat readiness. Instead, the piano build with the 2 different poisons.
That is Psalm specific though, right? Psalm was the first to kind of bust that out, and it seems like he's sticking to his guns after the rest of the world has kind of said, we feel like this is going to be the most optimal way to build the Valeera. Yeah,
so it's a Valeera adding some utility to the team comp. It's a slow with wound poison, and then as well, or the crippling poison, and then wound poison to decrease the healing output on a target for a few seconds.
These sappers are going to pressure out for both sides. Teammates questioning if they can move up and zone off just the 2 members, but don't know if they have it here, especially with Cleanse up. Speaking of, Cattle's going to need it in a moment. The body block from June. Oh, the root doesn't even need it.
Oh, the slow. There were no minions there to draw the ire of the fort, so that'll be a 1-for-1 so far. Fury trying to keep the slow going.
Prismat has burrowed. He's looking for June. The Sapper is trying to put out the damage. Saw him by himself.
Valeera's channeled mid.
Valeera got it.
And getting Dahaka down here, this is such a win for Abathur to soak.
All they have to do is buy time, but June's not in a position to get that interrupt. Ooh, oh, the hat dash missed.
So close to getting the stab.
It would have hit if it wasn't for Valeera getting the dash and just a miscommunication. Oh, that feels bad. Abathur would have gotten so much more value because then Mouth would have been able to move up, get a lot more delay.
It's another little thing, though. Valeera got one of the altars. They're still ahead in experience. But it would have been a lot more, potentially, being ahead of experience if they could have gotten that delay.
Yeah. And that's the kind of stuff that you got to make happen, you know, with Abathur-style compositions. They are winning. Oh, man. They are winning the only, like, I guess there are 3 up there, but the only 2 mines he just casually teleports into. Valeera moves up. All wrong.
Dahaka's dead, too.
Oh, man.
Oh, Valeera's still chasing him down. He's got the hat. He gets the kill.
I'm just disappointed there wasn't a beast step there. I felt like that was the most optimal time. 1v1s, not true. Abathur hat got the reveal, which was totally cheating. So now the Valeera build is steering towards the norm. Going with the bonus damage on the Q.
Assassinate. Follow up with death from above at 13. And a level lead, heroic abilities. Cursed Bullet over Go for the Throat. Smoke Bomb this time. Last time we saw Valeera, it was Cloak of Shadows. And Ultimate Evolution for a double Great Main.
Teammates still just looking to get 10s. That's all they can wait for now. They should be able to delay long enough to be able to stop not the sappers, but more the shots being channeled for free. Yeah, as in they're going to be getting this 10 close enough. Valeera sniffs out Zeratul once more, initiates, gets him down to 50% HP. Good zoning of Psalm with that Abathur hat onto Glaurung, really making him question every move he's making.
Dahaka was just slowly going to mid too, so teammate with taking so much damage on Zeratul, getting heroic abilities much later, not feeling like they could get into this altar, will give it up to Tempo Storm. That ties up core health, but now teammate looks to get aggressive, wanting to tie things up. Great sound wave from Buds, but so far Fury's staying alive, moving back in.
Valeera's in there, looking to get the initiation, but the movement speed coming out from Buds, it's going to let everybody move on out. The fact that the core HP is even is a huge detriment to teammate. If you do not understand how Abathur comps work, you sacrifice a lot in the early game to be able to make up for it in the mid to late game. And the fact that Tempo Storm has found themselves dead even, but even ahead in experience, shows bad signs here. Beautiful root. Draws the burrow. Passive is used. Ult now dropped. Can they get it before he... Yes, they can.
They answered your question as you were asking it, but Fury might go down here now too. There was a cleanse from June to get him out. Psalm drops smoke bomb.
Man. Sound barrier. Tempo Storm was half on the retreat, and sound barrier dropped. Nobody looking to force. They would have had to void if they were going to make any kind of play there. So another cooldown. It's going to be burnt for Team 8. Slowly just crumbling, it feels like, here under the composition and creative play styles of Tempo Storm.
And keeping a kill on Dahaka is such a win, again, because of the global game. At least Team 8 grabbed their sappers in the nick of time before Tempo Storm tried to invade.
So here we go. Abathur is going to look to get as much side soak as possible. This is where he's going to become an absolute powerhouse for the team. Tempo Storm's experience should just snowball now over Team 8. Get the stun on the cattle.
Justin taking a lot of damage. He's going to dwarf toss out, but Psalm is there too.
And he's not 13 yet, so not too much damage, but enough.
Forces Avatar.
Prismat doesn't have his heroic up. That was his passive. Use the stun from Psalm. Goes underground.
But speeds him out. Void Prison on 1 so far. Psalm, everyone from Team 8 falling rapidly in health. And the zoning from Tempo Storm has been so incredible around every single one of these altars.
Yeah, Greymane, look at him. Just the Greymane clone there from Cawthon. Goes out, gets the poke. Says, you want to move up, you're going to have to deal with me first. Prismat and friends are looking to force, though. Sound barrier down. Cattle barely almost makes it out. That's 1 for now. Glaurung getting chased by Psalm. June is in a terrible spot. Drag is going to confirm his life, so even for now.
2 for 2, but Psalm would love to move on in with that Abathur hat. Justin trying to make sure that Yoda can back out safely, as was Prismaticism, so they will stick it with a 2 for 2 for now, but Justin gets caught away from the rest of the team.
That was really smart initiation on the side of teammate. They were just waiting for the Abathur clone to go down and then look to all in force. This is the real battle here. Can he dodge the drag? Right? Oh, got him. Could have cost him his life there. But no, the worm is going to move out.
And Psalm moves in.
Good night, my sweet prince. He hasn't popped ult. Re-stealth, 1Q, and he's dead. Got him.
No B-steps.
Yeah. Invade here on bottom, though. Justin moves up.
Oh, Glaurung took a lot of damage there with Fury sitting on top of him with all of that Frozen Tempest damage. Cattle goes for the kill, takes out Zeratul, comes back, looks at Tasty Justin. Once again, Avatar used, but it won't be enough. It might be enough.
Yeah, they're on the chase. 1 stealth and he's dead. Here
Buds
he goes.
has been doing an awesome job.
Oh, my.
Soundwave then speeds him out. He's going to save his friend.
He is going to manage to keep his team alive. Justin and Bud sticking together till the end. But still, things crumbling for Team 8. Nothing really seemed to be working out. No invade, nothing on the map. Psalm is just wreaking havoc with that Abathur hat. Wouldn't even be surprised if he killed Yoda, honestly. There it is. Yeah, they're risking a lot knowing that Psalm is post 13. Post 13, you have to play Valeera completely different than you do every other form of her, just purely on the fact that she becomes Zeratul-esque, but her burst is not skill shot dependent. It is 100% going to connect if you were within range. And Teammate has zero respect right now for what Solom has managed to make happen in this game, not even considering he has a hat to help him out.
Oh my. Mid and bottom bell towers are going to fall. That is one set of 6 shots going out. A second grabbed by June. And whereas core health was fairly even, now this is a massive advantage for Tempo Storm, especially as they look to grab their 16 talent here, maybe even a boss.
Avatar's trying to baby those sappers into bottom. They know that's going to focus somebody to move on to bottom, and now Tempo is going to, again, capitalize on the rotations, abusing the Avatar, abusing the map, and only furthering their advantage. This will set the core health now down to 8. With 16 advantage, still a level away. Teammate really just, they're all banking on just one team fight once they had 16. They just are hoping that that one team fight's gonna be enough to turn things around. It's gonna be more of a stop the bleeding scenario here, especially if they get caught out at bottom.
Solom wants to try. Flowerung bolts out, blinks out. Executioner for Greymane is terrifying with the rest of the composition. Just even envenomed spikes to add insult to injury.
I'm trying to figure out where does Teammate, do they have anything else? Can they be doing something better? And again, I feel like a lot of this came down to the draft, but more importantly, the draft and then Tempo getting an early advantage.
Yeah.
As now is like, well, you are feeling the strengths of Abathur now, but you didn't feel the weaknesses early when you needed it.
Timbo's no stranger to being behind on Towers of Doom and then having to make a comeback. We've seen that even as far back as like PAX. I remember they did that versus Naventic. They were ahead and they got behind and they were able to make the comeback. Versus No Tomorrow, they made a crazy comeback, which seemed almost impossible, just with one perfect team fight at the end, confident team fight at that. Now Tempo Storm's like, well, we're playing ahead this time. We're playing from so far ahead. We'll see if they can just close it out here. If Team 8, now that they have 16, can finally get a favorable team fight.
9 seconds before, Solom already engaging, crippling Larng's HP. He goes in with a Vorpal, forces the sound barrier and the Void. I mean, it's just trying to make plays out of desperation, which then leads to heroics that are needed to be used if there's going to be any shot here. Tempo Storm's willing to trade out purely on the fact that they know they have such a huge control that they can really manipulate all the movements of Team 8. Solom up on top. This is going to be the moment where Team 8 needs something to happen.
Smoke bomb with 3 there. Solom's going to try to juke. Here comes Tychus 2. Everyone is committed to this Solom kill. Justin dives in. Solom jukes the Storm Bolt and lives.
That was the moment, really, where Team 8 was like, we have somebody we can focus on, we can get the picks. I mean, shout out to, you know, Solom, not only for that juke, what I thought was more impressive was honestly him walking just perfectly around max range, trying to figure out if, you know, if my smoke bomb drops now, I can walk the other way and dash away from them, but if it doesn't, then somebody comes too far from the other way. It's like Chen, when you gank him from behind, you actually give him an escape.
Yeah.
Then making sure he re-stealths, initiates on the Lucio. He did everything right to survive.
Prismat spots that Cattle and friends are trying to take their Sapper camp. They're all going to move in. The clone has been burned too, as has Odin. Team 8 are completely committed to this fight. They will bring down the clone, and Tempo Storm are fine with giving up the Sappers here. Yeah,
Odin for clone is a winning trade. Just because Abathur is going to be effective in team fights even without his ult. Maybe not as crazy as a Greymane ult, but it's just the cooldown being shorter as well.
Yeah.
Everything is working
massively shorter.
That's the beauty of Abathur. I love Abathur games, honestly. He's one of my favorite characters in the game. How he works, how he plays with teams, how teams have to function with and around, draft with. It's just amazing. But Team 8 here is unable to make anything happen yet. This is going to be the last fight over the Shrine.
Nobody yet from Tempo Storm in position. They're later in being able to claim back their bell tower.
It's interesting, the fact that they're willing to give it up.
Claim Sappers on top, clear that out, maybe even just try to take bell tower top.
Take a full 5-on-5 that they feel like they can lose. You got to consider the Abby 20 spike as well.
Yeah.
They have a lot of HP they can trade out. You know, small misplay there on the side of Team 8. They were willing to fully channel before getting the bell tower there, so they didn't get all the shots.
Void Prison, and with the claiming of the Sappers on top, not everyone is here for Tempo Storm. Ice block from June. Fury trying to get him. Yeah, it's...
Unless he gets 20, he is just dead. Speaking of 20.
But safe not to use Twilight Dream, or smart even.
Yeah, we've seen teams, you know, that do that and how bad they can work out. In certain situations, Tempo Storm, actually, June was the guy, you know, that did it to save Cattle before.
But this is a situation that Tempo Storm finds themselves in quite a lot on towers, where they start to lose one person and then the panic sets in. It may even more so if Psalm gets lost here. Cal's gonna try to help, goes after Glaurung.
Glaurung used rewind though, so he goes back in. Sound barrier. Saw him just juking and jiving.
Those are some staggered death timers though for Tempo Storm. Team 8 has a chance.
It's amazing, you know, that when things don't work out for Tempo, how you can already see them slowly kind of fall out and be like, what do we do? How do we make this happen? They aren't anywhere near losing this game yet, but it's still just, again, those risks that maybe they didn't need to take, because you can see them being like, we have to be safe. We need to be safe. And then the positioning out on bottom, Zeratul doing a great job to capitalize on them being too far out. And now this is going to be 4 shots from that boss. How much more? Because there's 6-second difference between those altars spawning and Valera spawning.
Do Tempo try to fight over the mid, knowing that Valera can come through the tunnel?
Yeah, you, at most, you risk delaying one. And if things don't work out, you just give it up.
Oh, that Void Prison for Team 8 just as things were about to get back, as Valera was about to get back. Odin was used too. They've dedicated a lot to this. Fury hits so many members of Team 8 with this Howling Blast. Twilight Dream.
June is carrying so hard right now. Glaurung trying to retreat. Not gonna happen. Psalm with that ambush. 2 members dead. The channel's gonna be started. Delay. Not gonna be there.
Nope.
That is it.
The nuke drops down instead on Tempo Storm. A clone on Arthas this time to just do the massive amounts of frost damage, and Tempo Storm closes out the series 3-0 over Team 8.
Tempo Storm minus, you know, the couple of staggered deaths here and there. Very clean performance here today. The most dominant I think I've ever seen these group of players play together. And it's just amazing to really see that come out from them. I cannot come up with the words to give them high enough praise. Because for so long, I mean, even they criticized me over it, my lack of faith in them, because purely it just feels like they hit their max. They weren't going to grow anymore as a group of players, and that they would never learn to, like, that over-aggression, to constantly never let up and be relentless. And there were a couple of moments here and there, but I think that's expected with the growing pains. Just to see that from them is so exciting for North America.
It's super exciting, and I have to wonder, possibly, is it the loss to Team 8 at the Western Clash that maybe was the fuel for that fire?
Hopefully, you know, if whatever you can get, really. But we're actually going to take a minute to appreciate the very last skirmish one more time, purely on the fact that I want to show how hard June carries this team fight. All right, so as we move up, the Void is actually going to happen here in the bottom left-hand side. And the minute that this is going to happen, appreciate June's going to back away, pre-cleanse onto Cattle to make sure he can't die. Gets the heals out, then moves up. Casually's going to just, you know, stroll right on in, just right over to here. When this happens, looks for the Twilight Dream.
And double Howling Blast, too, from that, to make sure they get hit by it.
It's just, he's doing so many small things right that, again, may not be noted until you look at Tempo Storm and the success they've had recently. It's just quick, proper decisions. Love to see that coming out from him. And won the team the game. Pre-cleanse perfectly onto the target that you know is the only one who can die in that situation.
Right, because Fury is so strong.
It's not even whether or not it actually matters in all situations. It's more about, again, you have to ask yourself, what is the only way I can lose? And it's, well, it's going to be my squishy dying. Arthas can survive. He should have enough tools as long as I'm there to be able to heal him, which he very much was. It's just really heads up. He's grown so much. Yeah. It's amazing. That's like 6 months. He's gone from like top support to like, I might be able to be a world-class support.
Incredible plays from June, from all of Tempo Storm, stepping up in a big way. Team 8, frustrating losses to both Gale Force Esports and Tempo Storm. But We saw some growth there. We saw they knew the fights they needed to take, right? It's just a matter of being able to execute them. They found the weak points. They found a couple of people to catch out. They caught I keep wanting to call him Buds. They caught June, and then they caught Valera too. And then the Void Prison seemed like it was going to be the answer.
Yeah, no, Glong did a really good job. For how far behind they were in that game, he did all the right thing with the Voids, just realizing we have to do something. Let's go. This is the only advantage we're really going to be able to get for his team. It just was at that point they were so far behind from other small choices that set them back.
And Sam's Valera. I can't wait to ask him about that. We have him on the line now. Hey, Sam, congratulations. You guys defeated Team 8 3-0 a super dominant way. Did you feel like it would be this dominant of a victory?
To be completely honest, we felt really confident going into the series, especially after we saw Gale Force 3-0 them. Because we had been scrimming against Gale Force a lot, and we've had good results, so we felt confident, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about how you approach the Valera versus Zeratul matchup, because it's one that we've seen you be willing to take before.
Personally, I think Valera bullies Zeratul. I know a lot of people might think the other way around. People might think Valera is just a lesser Zera, maybe according to Dread. But personally, I think a good Valera who knows how Zeratul's play, you can bully them and you just stop the rotate and you make them fear like every rotate that they take.
Yeah, we saw a lot of that this game, so great job with that.
You guys have put on far more aggression than you ever have in the downtime between objectives. You guys are the most relentless group of members in North American scene, and it's something that we haven't seen from you ever before. What changed? Was it losing to teammate at the Western Clash? Was it just getting better? Like it's amazing to see this from you. I want to know if there's any inspiration.
You know, we practiced a lot going into Western Clash, and we didn't have the results that we had expected. I think against Fnatic, like that wasn't the real Tempo Storm. I think we had like a mental blockade. I guess we put Fnatic like way up there. Oh, they beat MVP Black. So we didn't play our game. We played pretty bad, and then maybe that affected our teammate series. So, you know, we had a team meeting after Western Clash, and we decided to really buckle down. We've upped our scrim hours even more. We're taking every game super seriously. We're really hammering down on the mistakes that we make in scrims. We're replay analysis on everything. So we've been going really hard. So, yeah. It's
awesome to see it pay off.
Yeah, it's amazing to hear that, especially because we're like, you know, go in A, and it's lovely to see you guys be so dominant. We know you guys are going to be playing Superstars next. I got to ask, you versus Goku, who's the better Valera?
Only thing I'll say is Goku copies China's Valera build. Yeah, I don't like China's Valera build.
All right. We'll let you off the hook this time. Any shout-outs before we let you go?
Yeah, shout out to my team. First of all, I think we played fantastic today. Better than we played yesterday, actually. Shout out to my family who supports me. Shout out to my girlfriend. Shout out to Twitch chat for always being either our biggest fans or our biggest haters. And yeah, you can catch my stream, twitch.tv/SomHot, but you can check out June's stream right after this show at twitch.tv/JuneHots_, I want to say. And shout out to Tempo Storm, of course.
All right, congrats again.